Hi guys, let me know if we are live. If we are live, then I'll get started. Just let me know in the chat if we are live. And not sure we are live yet. We are going live. Just like put ready or yes in the chat room if you are able to see the video. If the audio is clear, everything is fine, then we can get started. So just let me know through chat so then we can get started with the stream. Okay. I see that even in this chat we are getting that we are live. So let's get started. Pause this, otherwise it will play while I'm speaking. See, the audio is clear, right? Yeah, Kushal is saying audio is all clear, fine. So let's get started. In this particular video, what I want to do is I want to discuss a particular type of LR set which has come it came last year, it came last to last year, and I feel that it is one of those sets which is not very time consuming and it is visually distinct as such. So if you want to have a lot of variety in your LR, DILR section, this is one of those sets that you can put, and you can reliably put sets like this across slots. And now the paper setter has to worry about 3 slots. So if he has to worry about 3 slots, he is going to need type of sets to put as such. So he will put, say, choose like arrangement. So you can say that, okay, I'll put one arrangement, one games and tournaments, one missing table, a table with missing values. So you'll have to put kind of one arithmetic puzzle. So you'll have to put similar sets almost across 3 slots. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to compare across slots. So this I feel is one of those sets which are very likely to come, especially because now there are 3 slots. I think this is very likely to come. And the way to approach this and the way to answer this is actually fairly simple. So if you get a set of this type, I want you guys to attempt it. So we'll discuss this set in detail so that you guys are well prepared for solving a 2D space LR if it comes in CAT. Before we get started, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to please like the stream. Please share this in your WhatsApp groups or your Telegram groups, wherever they are, so that more students can join. See, if more students join us, it motivates us to hold more streams like this, and we want to actually hold more streams as we come closer to CAT. So if there are a lot of students, it actually motivates us to do more of these streams. So if you want more streams, please like this stream and please share it with your friends, and also make sure that they know about the test. More students that take the test, the better idea you have about the competition that is there. The test is going to be there on cracku.in/live. So just go to this particular page and wait. You will see the YouTube video at the top, and below that the test will load. You will not see any question yet because the test has not started. I have not posted any question yet. So once the test starts, below that you are going to start seeing questions. So please just go to that particular video and be ready so that once the questions start getting posted, you are able to actually compete in the test. We will have one small question, quant based question. So I put one quant question which is based on like 2D space diagrams and one LR set. So this is going to be a shorter stream, which means that you're not going to have a lot of time to actually compete and win as such. So please make sure that you join in fast, and you make sure that everybody who is joining in, please go to that site now and please actually get started with it so that you have ample time to solve the LR set. Okay. And also guys, please, there is chat box over there also. So I'll be seeing that chat box as well as live chat over here. If you have any doubts specific to LRs, please post them in these live chat box, and I'll try to answer them in the while you guys are attempting the quiz as such. Okay, so please go to cracku.in/live. I see there are like 100 people, 50 people who are there on the stream but who are not part of Cracku, who are not on the site yet. Please join, guys. The guys who come in the first 3 in the quiz, will be giving them the mock plus daily target package as well as t-shirts. So please try to compete in that. if this is something that we have been asked many times, that if you get the same score, what happens? In case you get the same score, what will be the case is that the one who answers first is going to be at the higher rank. So the 1, 2, 3 ranks are going to get it, and your rank will be decided not just by whether you get it right, but also the time you take to get it right. So please join in now and make sure that you are a top scorer, so that you can get Cracku's t-shirt and the test plus daily target package as such. I'm hoping to see some of the regulars, a lot of students who regularly come. I hope that they join us today. So guys, please like the stream, please share the stream with your friends. I hope to see more students, so that it motivates us to actually do more of these streams. If anybody is wondering where they can see the test, it is at cracku.in/live. So just go there. You won't see questions immediately. They'll start coming after I start posting the questions as such. So if everybody is okay with the process, if everybody knows what is this, if everyone is ready, I'll start with first explaining how to solve these kind of sets. There is not much whole of explanation as such, and after that we'll go to the first quant question as such. So if you guys are ready, just let me know, and I'll get to your queries on chat as well as on live chat soon, but I'll do that in the middle of once people are starting to answer the test, then I'll go to that. So if you guys are ready, please let me know, and then we'll start with the explanation of 2D Space LR, and then we can start with the test after that. Okay, so guys, let me know. Some of you guys are asking the CAT submit, the test appeared to continue even after 40 minutes. Do we have to submit, or does it get auto submitted? It is going to get auto submitted irrespective of whether you click the submit button or not. CAT sections get auto submitted. I'll be covering some amount of how to actually go about LR section, how to choose sets in DI. So I'll do that later when we have some more time. Just keep posting queries here in case you want any specific questions answered. Okay. The additional sectionals, we'll be giving that soon. Just give us some time. We are just in the process of collecting and verifying the admit cards. Once we have that, we'll be giving access to the additional sectionals. And if everybody is ready, we can get started with the process. Akash, just go to cracku.in. If you have signed up, just sign up using any of your Google accounts or Facebook account if you are able to do that, and then you can go to cracku.in live to take the test. Okay, the test is free. It is free for everyone. Just make just tell everybody who is trying to improve in DILR about this test. It is completely for free. So let's get started. Okay, if everyone is ready, I've seen a lot of readies, so let's get started. So first thing that we will do is cover how to actually solve these kind of 2D LR sets. See, 2D LR sets basically require some amount of spatial thinking. So what is spatial thinking? You should be able to visualize a space and see how things move in it. For example, one of the first 2D LR puzzles that came in CAT was about a grid where you had different towers of different heights. So you had a grid like this, and you had towers of different heights. So essentially you can consider each height to be just a number, say 3, 4 different numbers like this, and based on this grid you had to answer questions as such. So if you have 3 over here and 4 over here, 3 can't see beyond this, 3 can't see beyond this. So essentially it required a lot of visualization as such. This was, I think, one of the earliest examples of CAT 2D space LRs that had come in CAT. Since then we have seen it again occur in the last CAT exam. So I feel that this is something that is likely to come again in this year's CAT. The essential thing that is tested here is basically if you are able to see a grid and able to visualize the different outcomes out of that grid. So the biggest reason why many students struggle with this is basically a lot of students are not very visual thinkers. So if you have a grid like this, it is difficult for some students to think, okay, this is the these are the different ways in which you can work the grid, or these are the different ways of movement. So in such cases, I'll just tell you how to solve the question. See, basically remember, in 2D space LRs, you are going to have to draw different diagrams. That is the only way that you can solve the question. So whenever something is described, just see how many different versions of diagrams you are going to have to draw. So essentially, when you see the question, read the question, read the questions, the 4 questions or 5 questions that are going to come with it, and just see for how many of the questions you are going to need an entirely new diagram. So essentially, you will have variations of the same diagram that you will have to draw for solving the particular question. And you will have to draw this so that only by drawing you are going to be able to solve the question as such. For different types of LR questions, there are different representation formats. For arrangement, you have to sometimes draw a line, sometimes you have to draw a table, sometimes you have to draw, like for Einstein's puzzles, you have to draw tables with crosses and ticks. So all of these are different representation formats. For 2D space LR, you basically have to remember that you have to say that, okay, this will be case 1, case 2, case 3, and you will have to draw each of the cases as cases that are there. The important thing to remember is, in 2D space LR, what you should always try to do is, whenever you see that a case is unlikely, that it seems like a fringe case, try to do it first in a rough manner so that you see whether this is possible or not. Once you reject the case, you need not draw it further. So essentially, try to minimize the amount of drawing that is required. Essentially, that is basically the difference between a student who can solve a 2D space LR and the one who can't. Firstly, those who are not able to draw the different cases are not able to solve. After that, the second level of filter that is there is basically some students take a lot of time to draw. If you are able to draw the different cases quickly, if you are able to say, okay, this is the grid, without going completely into detail, I can see that just looking at this particular part of the grid, I can see that this is not feasible. I'll leave this case, go to the next case. So all of these skills are important in essentially saving time and solving this question, this kind of set properly. So essentially, just remember, whenever you see a 2D space LR, if a grid is defined, if a board is defined, chessboard, dominoes board, any kind of board, if like any kind of a topographical map is defined, anything of that sort. Essentially, if you have any 2D space, just remember, the key thing that you have to remember is that you have to draw cases. You have to eliminate certain cases. So you have to first take cases where you feel that this is not going to occur, this is unlikely to be the case, and try to fit there just to eliminate the case, and basically just draw all the cases that are there. So that is the main skill that is required for 2D space LRs. So now that you guys know how to handle it, we'll actually see how to use it by taking an actual set, and I'll also have one specific quant question so that you get used to the concept of visualizing 2D spaces as such. So if you guys are ready, we will start with the first question. And just let me know whether you are able to, if you are able to follow and all. If somebody is joining us now, there are like a lot of students who are there on YouTube but who have not come to the site. Just remember, you have to go to cracku.in/live. The test is on cracku.in/live. You basically will be competing with all other students who are seeing this stream. And you will have time to solve the LR set and the quant question, and those who solve it properly and in the least amount of time will be the top 3 on our leaderboard, and those guys are going to get t-shirt and our daily target plus mock package. So please go on to cracku.in/live. We'll be starting the test soon. I might take 1-2 queries now, so just make sure before we start the test everybody goes on to the site so that all of you can compete. If you feel that you are not yet ready, don't hesitate to participate. This is not an actual CAT. The more you participate, the more you test yourself, you're going to improve. So don't be like, I am not very confident at the moment, I will take it only after I have done all revision and all. Don't wait for you to to complete revision. That even the time you complete revision, from that point to the point you actually have to give CAT, the time will be too little to actually practice. So keep practicing, keep taking tests even now, even if you don't feel fully confident. You will get confidence by practicing, by giving tests. So please join in. Don't feel that you are not prepared for this. It isn't a actual CAT. This is not going to define your results. So please join in and let's take the test as such. Okay. So one of the questions that Vijay has asked is that there are generally many ambiguous statements in DILR sets which have multiple meanings. Can we expect unambiguity in real CAT? Mostly yes, but there have been cases where Like I remember even some CAT papers where the DILR set was wrong also. So even the CAT paper setters are human. So while they strive for unambiguity, some of the statements might be ambiguous. Having said that, what might be ambiguous to you might not actually be ambiguous in a logical sense. So you have to practice the conversion of word information into logical information as such. And most of the time, caselet to logical information is generally very deterministic. So if you're finding it ambiguous, it might also be the fact that you don't have a very good understanding of how to convert textual information into logical information. So logical is basically whenever you write a statement, if A then B, then you have logical way of writing this as A implies B. Or if and only if means that A double implication B. So all of these things we have covered under logical representation of information. Just make sure that you are very good at it. It might not be actually ambiguous. The ambiguity mostly paper setters will not be doing. They are also human, it can happen, but mostly it won't be ambiguous. Also, please guys join in. I see a lot of students that are there, 184 students. I'm really happy. If anybody is joining in, please go to cracku.in/live. Our test will be starting soon. Also, if you guys are worried about CAT preparation, for Quant preparation, just remember, even if you're not a Cracku premium member, we have put about 3.5 to 4 hours of Quant revision on our YouTube channel. So just go to the Quant revision, just search Cracku Quant revision, and you will get the entire quant revision as such. So this will be around 3.5 hours on this. We also have verbal and DILR revision. So please go over if you are struggling and you don't know, if you want free resources, we have ample of free resources on our channel. All the sessions that we conduct are also free, and they'll remain free on the channel as such. So please use all the free resources that we have put on Cracku on YouTube also to actually improve in CAT. There are very few days remaining to CAT, so it's important that you use it wisely and use the right resources to get the results. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, Ashi is asking where is the test. I'm just starting it. Okay, we'll just if everybody is ready, let's start with the first question. Okay, I'll clear this off. Okay, head over to cracku.in/live. I'll be posting the first question in 5 seconds, so please head over there. Okay, okay. So yeah, I think the first question, which is a quant question, is posted. This is a 2D space kind of a question, but it can come as an individual quant question. So okay, guys, try to solve this question. There are 2 minutes for that. I'll try to answer some of the queries that are there. So Shivam, you want topper marks also in dashboard? We'll in this test or in mocks as such. In mocks, I think you are able to see the toppers. Over here also, I think you can see the dashboard leaderboard as such. So I'm not really sure where you're what you're referring to. Okay, let's is matrix and 2D grid the same? Yeah. Basically, just think of it in the way that if you have a grid that you have to draw, or it need not necessarily be a grid also. You can have a chessboard, you can have a map, you can have anything which is essentially in 2D space, and you need spatial reasoning to it. So spatial reasoning will be that something has to either move, or something is above, something is below, and they are moving across the this, or even if they are not moving, essentially you have information relative to different positions, or essentially you have a grid-like structure as such, or a 2D structure as such, and based on that two-dimensional structure, you have to answer questions. So it can be a matrix, it can be a grid, it can be a map, it can be a chessboard, it can be anything really. It can be a top view of a field as such. So it can be literally anything. So whenever you have something like that, just remember that you need this kind of a method to solve those kind of sets. Okay. Okay. Palak asks, I have bought your CAT daily targets for DILR. Those 200 sets of DILR will be enough revision till CAT. Yes, definitely enough revision till CAT. But solve them sincerely. So don't just look at the solution. The important thing is that you take it as a test. You try to solve it yourself. Once you solve it yourself, you will get a sense of whether or not you are able to solve it. If you are able to solve it, you can move ahead. If you're not able to solve it, you have to try to identify where was the gap as such. So take it as a test. If you are able to take those 200 sets as a test, they're more than enough revision as such. Somebody else is also asking, okay, in mocks you're not able to see the top scorer. Okay, I will show that. That is, I was not aware of that. I'll try to see the front end and see whether we are not giving that kind of information. We should give you the topper mark. So I'll just take a look at that, Shivam. Okay, and see, Deeman is asking between 2D and 3D space topics which are not important for CAT. So basically, both are important. I feel 2D is more likely because in 3D space, mostly you will get cube kind of questions. Cube kind of questions are also important, but that is like one type of set. Just make sure that you do the cubes kind of questions well. And beyond that, 3D kind of visualization becomes very difficult at times. And I'm not sure that they will be doing that. But I think 2D kind of visualization or spatial visualization or spatial reasoning is completely fair game to check. So I feel that given the variability of questions that can be asked from 2D space, I feel that is more likely than 3D space as such. Okay, but both are likely. Okay, I think many have answered, many people have gotten this right, so I'm very, very glad. And 23 got it correct, 62 got it wrong. That's still okay because this is on the, this is a harder question actually. It requires a lot of critical thinking as such. So how do you actually think of something like this? So first thing is basically try to think of what you are trying to minimize. What you are trying to maximize is the number of chessboards which are not under attack. So if you are maximizing the number of squares that are not under attack, you are basically trying to minimize the overlap as such. So what is the overlap? See, basically if I can draw it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, so this is, okay, one more, yeah. So if I draw the chessboard like this, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you draw a chessboard like this, basically what are you trying to minimize? See, if I put a, suppose I will put it in the middle. If I put a queen here, what all squares are under attack? This column is under attack, this row is under attack, this diagonal is under attack, and this diagonal is under attack, okay, which is over here. So these are the squares which are under attack. Now as you can see, if I put it in the middle, I will be maximizing the number of squares which are under attack because I have two full diagonals, max length of diagonals, and irrespective of where I put, the number of squares that are attacked by column and row remain the same. So if I just consider over here, this is still 8 pieces in the column, 8 pieces or 8 squares in the row. Even if I put it at the end also, it will be the same number if I just consider column and row. But the diagonal squares vary considerably. If I, instead of putting it in the middle, if I put it at the end, the number of squares under attack in column or row wise will remain the same. But in this case, you are cutting off one diagonal entirely and you are having only one diagonal as such, which will considerably reduce your number of squares as such. So if you are trying to maximize the number of squares which are not under attack, you have to minimize the number of squares which are under attack. So basically you should try to put the queens in a corner so that they do not attack a whole lot of squares as such. The second thing that you have to realize is that if this is the number of squares that this particular queen attacks and I have to place 3 queens, if I have to minimize the number of squares which are under attack, I have to make sure that the remaining 2 queens have to overlap in some way with this existing queen. So basically if I put my queen over here, for example, what will happen is that it will take the same column. So I'm not adding a new column as such. It will add a new row, but it will not add a new column. But it will add a new diagonal like this. But they would, and this diagonal. So that is the only additional this as such. But I'll be saving on the column as such. Or at the same time, if I place the second queen over here, I'll be saving on the row squares. I'll be adding a new column as such, and a new diagonal, but I won't be adding a new row. So based on this, what I realized is that I should put it in a column. I should put the queens in a corner in such a way that their fields or the squares that they attack overlap. That is the second insight you should have. If you look at it, you see immediately that I should try to put it in a corner and it should make them overlap as such. Now I have to overlap their rows. I have to overlap the rows they attack. I have to overlap the columns they attack. And I have to overlap the diagonals they attack. These are the things that I should remember. So essentially, I should try to put them in the same row or in the same column. Now what happens is that, suppose I put my second queen over here. In this case, I have saved on the row. Irrespective of where I put it, I will be saving on the row as such. If I put, instead of putting my second queen over here, if I put the second queen over here, I will be having this additional diagonal, and I'll be saving on the diagonal, but I'll have a new row and new column. So that will additionally mean that whatever I save on the diagonal, I'll be having an additional row which I have to consider, as well as another diagonal which comes on the other side as such. So actually putting it on the diagonal doesn't make that much sense right now. So the second queen can either be over here or over here. Now for the third queen as such, what should I do with the third queen? See, in the third queen, I just have to remember I have this row. Okay, I have this row which is I have saved on, and the current columns are these two columns. So I should put it in either of these two columns such that I save on rows, I save on columns, and I save on diagonals. Now if I put it over here, I'll be adding a whole different column. Okay, if I put it over here, I'll be adding one more column. So instead of doing that, what I think is that if I put it, say, over here, what will happen? In this case, I'll be saving on the column, I'll be adding a row, but in this case, this square is already part of my second column as such. So I'll be adding lesser number of squares that are under attack than if I put it over here. So it makes more sense for me to put it over there, and I'll be saving on the diagonal also. But in this case, I'll be adding a whole new diagonal. So I'll be saving on the column, this column I'll save. I will not be saving on the row, and I'll also not be saving on the diagonal. Now it makes more sense for me to save both or at least two things as such, both the columns and the diagonals. In that case, how I can do that? I can save both on columns and diagonals. See, so I can save on columns and, okay, I'll just, yeah, if I want to save both on columns and diagonals, what I should do is, I should put it over here. If I put it over here, I save on the column, yes. I don't save on the row, but in this case, again, the area, the square under attack, this was already there. So I save one square, and I'm saving on the diagonal as such. So if I put it here, I'm actually saving on, instead of creating a whole new diagonal, I'm saving on the diagonal as such. Though I'll have to consider this diagonal also. So by doing that, by putting these three squares as such, queens over here, I'll be minimizing the number of squares that are under attack. And then if I minimize the number of squares that are under attack, then I'll maximize the squares which are not under attack. Now suppose the three queens are over here, this over here, then essentially these two rows are gone, these two columns are gone. I have a 6 into 6 kind of a grid, of which my this diagonal is gone. So essentially from this from the 36, essentially my so if I consider this entire diagonal of 6 is gone, and so this will be 6 into 6, which is 36. From this, what all is gone? So this basically means that this diagonal is gone. This diagonal is also gone because this diagonal is over here, and that diagonal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that diagonal is 5, and this diagonal is 6. So this basically means the number of this that go from diagonals are 36 minus 6 minus 5. So that is basically 25 squares remain which are not under attack. So these are the maximum number of squares which I can have which are not under attack. So the right answer to this is option B, 25. Okay, so whenever you are solving a question like this, just try to visualize that if I try to overlap the what is the way, how can I actually minimize the overlap, and try placing it in a grid so that you can find out the answer as such. Okay, now that you guys have some idea of how to solve these kind of sets, we'll take a proper LR set as such. This is a slightly difficult LR set, but the key to remember is that form cases. Once you form cases, draw the different grids and try to find out the different cases that are possible. Whenever you reach a dead end, eliminate a case. So now that you guys know how to do it, let's actually jump forth with the set. If you guys are ready, just let me know if you guys are ready, and I'll post that LR set as such. Just let me know through chat or on the live chat or on the chat in Cracku.in, and then I'll post this. Okay, and I'll try to solve more general queries also in the middle, because you have like 15 minutes to do the LR set, so just let me know there. Okay, if you guys are ready, just let me know. Ready? Okay. I'm giving you guys like 10 seconds. Please just be ready with trying to solve an LR set. Make sure you have a pencil and a paper with you. It's going to take you some drawing to do. So just make sure you're ready. If everybody is ready, I'll post the question as such. If you guys are joining us now, if somebody is joining us now, just head over to cracku.in/live. The test is over there. Please try to take the test, and if the guys who do well in the test will be getting a the guys who do well in the test will be getting our t-shirts, Cracku t-shirts, as well as our mock test plus daily target package. So please head over there if you guys are not already there. Okay, so let's get started. I see a lot of ready, so okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'm posting the set. Okay, so guys, try to solve this set. Okay, so I'll just try to solve some of the questions that might be there. So Jatin asked that my verbal score dropped suddenly after not much practice. I think I lost touch. Would it be advisable to spend heavily on verbal for a week at this time? Yeah, see, essentially if you're doing poorly in a section, focus on it. You have to do well in all sections. So make sure that you take the time out to focus on the verbal section. It has to be up to a certain par at least. So if you need special help in verbal, take the time out and focus on verbal. I would suggest that still at least do like 5 questions of Quant and 1 set of DILR every day, just so that you keep the flow going. But that should not take you a whole lot of time. The remaining time, just make sure that you focus on verbal. Okay, and do Cracku premium members get access to the CAT question bank? If yes, where can we access it? So the 200 DILR set that somebody was referring to was part of the daily target in our question bank, that is the study room, which is a separate package. You have even more sets as such. These CAT 200 DILR sets are sets with video solution, which are part of daily target. In our study room, we have more DILR sets which are essentially not necessarily with video solutions. Some have video solutions, some do not. These are different packages. The first package, which is just the 200 DILR sets, is daily target. The bigger question bank as such with more DILR sets is called the Cracku study room. If you guys are not able to see, okay, you're not able to see the question completely, just click on view instructions, then you'll be able to see. Just make sure that you view all the instructions as such. Click on view instructions. Okay, can't see state. Yeah, please click on view instructions, guys. Please refresh the page if it's not visible and click on view instructions. Just let me know if you guys are able to see the DILR. If you are not able to see, I'll just try to see what is the issue. Just let me know on chat if you are able to see the LR set. Not visible yet. Just try to refresh the page, please. I've posted it, so it should be visible as such. But if you're not able to see, please refresh the page so that you can see the set. the statements that are here which you are not able to see, essentially just see it in the actual this, because you won't be able to see the all of the statements over here as such. So make sure that you go to the website to see it properly. It won't fit over here. Go to cracku.in/live and there you will be able to see the entire set properly. Click view instructions to see the set. Okay. Okay, Diyali is saying she can see after clicking instructions. So please click on view instructions. You will be able to see the set as such. If you are still not able to see after doing that, please let me know. Okay, were you guys able to see this? Not yet. Okay, no, Anupam, you are not able to see the instructions. I would suggest see it on the cracku.in/live. This would not be, it would, I can't really change the this as such. So just see on the website rather than in the YouTube video. I'm not able to change the layout here as such. So just try to see it in the website as such. If you go there and you click on view instructions, you'll be able to see the set properly as such. Okay, what are you asking, AP? Please tell. You're just putting ma'am, how to increase reading speed. There is no shortcut. You have to read more. The more you read, you will be able to improve your reading speed. Just don't focus on reading speed. It's important to understand what you read. So if you are able to understand in the first go, even if you take slightly more time to read it, it's fine. But if you read it quickly and not understand anything, then it's useless as such. So more than reading speed, just see how much time it takes for you entirely to read a passage and understand it and absorb it. That is more important than just your reading speed. It's not about just words per minute. You have to understand, and you should be able to understand the main point of the passage well. So it's not just reading speed as such. Okay. If you guys are not able to see the question over here, it's difficult to see over here because as somebody said, I'm sitting in front of it. But please go over to the please go over to cracku.in and /live. Go to cracku.in/live, and over there you will be able to see the test. This full set will be available there. Just go over there and try to see the set over there. Click on view instructions. You'll be able to see the entire set there. Okay. Let me see if somebody has already answered this. Yeah, some guys have already started answering. So good for you, Amal and Chandrakant. Please keep answering. I'll see if I can actually reduce the size of this. Okay, if this will not be visible to if anybody is trying to move it. So if you guys have seen the canvas, okay, I can't move that also. Okay. Okay. That is better for you guys. Okay, so guys, try to attempt the questions. I'll try to answer some more queries till then. Move over here, you will be able to see all of the options. Okay, yeah, I think even now you should be able to see it even on the this as such, Shobita. But I would still suggest go to the test and take the actual test, so it would be easier for you to actually follow what is going on. Go to the cracku.in/live page and click view instructions. And Okay, Ayush is asking how to solve 4 into 4 magic box questions. See, basically, whenever you have something like this where you have to place numbers, just try to see the different conditions that are required. See, if it's something where you have to, this is something that has come in last time CAT, where you have variables and each variable represents a single digit question as such. If that is the case, so basically like A to say I, and each letter represents a single digit. Basically, you have to try to find out the different versions. Try to write down simple linear equations saying that okay, A plus C plus D should be equal to this sum, and this should be equal to this. Once you write down the equations, you have to manipulate the equations to try to get unique answers, where basically if you say that I have the sum of the like 3 variables where each variable represents a digit is 24. Now that can occur in only one way, that is if they are 7, 8, 9, because that's an extreme end as such. Similarly, if the sum of 3 variables is 6, that can only occur in one way, which is 1, 2, 3. So essentially, once you have your variables in front of you, you have linear equations in front of you, then you can you have to be comfortable in manipulating those linear equations into solving the set test. But it depends entirely on the set that is there, so I can't say for in general what should be the approach. It also depends on your set. In general, whenever you have something like this, please try to form linear equations and then solve it. Okay. I'm not able to see the top part of it, but if you guys are okay, we can check the this as such. Okay, so I was able to do this. If you guys have been able to solve, let me see the leaderboard. Okay, there's still almost 5 minutes on it. So please guys try to solve this. I'll try to answer some more queries and I'll do this till then. Okay. Okay. If you were not able to see the grid is here. The grid is not giving you a whole lot of information other than the fact that this was the initial grid. Just write down the grid and everybody moved 2 centimeters, and then you have these conditions which are more important as such. Okay, so that is basically you can then start solving this. Stuti is asking, is Cracku serious enough to prepare for all the sections? Stuti, we have Cracku test series is enough. Okay, is it series is enough to solve all sections? Yes, we are so exhaustive in almost every section. Whether it comes to Quant or DILR or VRC, we have thought of every single thing that could be asked. We have made videos for it. We have different types of questions. We have like an exhaustive database of questions. Our mocks are as close to CAT as possible. So I don't think that we have left any stone unturned in terms of preparing our students for CAT. So I'm very, very sure that this is completely more than enough. If you do everything diligently, it is more than enough to crack CAT. Okay. And if anybody has any other question, are 20 marks enough for cracking CAT? Manish is asking. Yes, 20 marks is more than enough to crack CAT, but remember that it's not just about taking the mock. You have to take the mock, you have to analyze the mock, you have to identify where you went wrong and actually support or supplement that with topic tests. So if you are not doing well in say algebra, then take topic tests to improve in it. If you're not doing well in a particular section, you need topic tests to improve in that. If you're not doing well in RCs, you need to take a lot of RC topic tests. So that is basically the this. Just taking a mock is not enough. A mock supplemented with all of those additional steps, 20 mocks will be more than enough. In fact, 15 will be more than enough. A lot of students don't really even do 15 seriously. So even if you are doing 15 seriously with all of these steps, it's more than enough. Also remember that whenever you are solving, if you get something wrong, put in the extra effort to figure out why you made that mistake, and put in a lot of effort to make sure that you don't make that mistake again. If you keep plugging at your weak points, if you make sure that you don't repeat mistakes, it will improve your score quite a whole lot. So over 15 mocks, if after every mock you ensure that you improve, that you find areas you didn't do well in and you improve on them, then at the end of 15 mocks, you are going to be so much better than where you started. So please make sure that you put in that effort also. Okay. Dear Mridul is saying that Cracku DILR sectionals are too difficult. See Mridul, just imagine this way, that CAT for the last many years has had difficult DILR firstly. Secondly, you do not have a lot of pressure on you when you are solving Cracku DILR sectionals. But when you are actually solving CAT DILR, there is a whole lot of pressure on you. So just imagine if you're finding this difficult, we are actually preparing you for something that is difficult. Solving CAT DILR section under pressure is extremely difficult. So just make sure that don't get demotivated by low scores. Use this as a learning opportunity. If you do poorly in any DILR sectional, just say that, okay, what are the sets that I didn't get? Okay, this set I should have solved in this way. I should have represented the information this way. And if you go through that with each DILR sectional, you will do well after a few sectionals as such. And in actual CAT, you will do much better. If you don't take disappointment now, you might have to face disappointment on actual CAT day, which we don't want. So even if it is tough now, do the hard work now so that you are able to sail through CAT DILR in the actual section as such. And CAT DILR is difficult. I am not going to lie to you. Many students are not able to solve even 3 sets properly in CAT DILR. So if you are putting the hard work today and solving all these kind of sets, you will be much better placed than a lot of your peers. So Ram Kumar is saying that for me VARC was tough while doing mocks. Is there any way to improve VARC score? See Ram, in VARC what we see is that in all of VARC there is one common thread, that is of comprehension skills. So you have to improve comprehension skills to do well in CAT. The way to improve comprehension skills is firstly to do active reading. Active reading is basically reading regularly and writing down the main point of each paragraph that you read. A lot of students read but don't digest the information and just skim through the passage and try to attempt questions, and that is where they go wrong. In this case, active reading forces you to think and write, and then you can improve as such. So essentially just keep working on your comprehension skills and you will get better at VARC section. We have put up a lot of resources on VARC. We have put up a lot of resources on all sections, not just DILR. There are many videos on Quant, many streams on Quant, many streams on DILR and VARC. Please view all of them. They are available for free for everyone. So please view them. If you are able, use them as such. You have 1 month left. You can still about 23 days left now, and you still have 22 days left now, and you still have time to actually use all the resources that are at hand to improve. So please work on your comprehension skills. Chandrakant is asking, CAT official mock test is having 34 questions. Yeah, I was disappointed in them that they didn't actually reduce the length as such. I would be very surprised if they kept 34 questions entirely intact, because there is no way that you can solve all those 34 questions. If they give 34 questions, it is fine. If they don't also, that is fine. See, essentially just remember that with 40 minutes, 34 questions, only 5-10 people will be actually solving those 34 questions accurately. So whether they reduce it or not, you should focus that I should get these many questions right. And that irrespective of whether they cut the length of the exam or not, the cutoff is definitely going to come lower because you have lesser time. So I feel that it was a oversight on their part to keep 34 questions, 34, 32, 34. I think that the actual CAT would be slightly shorter, but if it is not, just remember that the cutoff will be lower. So it you can think that the only difference that you have to do in terms of strategy is basically if it is still 34 questions, then you have to be very careful in selection of questions. That is the only difference that will occur if you have an entire 34, 100 question paper as such. Okay, let's see if how many were able to answer. So 22 got it correct, 65 got it wrong, and Amal, Sunny and Chandrakant Chandrakant and Prayas are at the top. These three have solved it properly. I think this is 12. I think Amal and Chandrakant still got at least one question wrong, so that's why you are at 12, and because we had one additional question at the start also. So let's see how to solve this particular set. So let's take a look at the set as such. Okay, if you guys have any questions post, then I'll try to solve the this later on as such. I'll get into the other stuff afterwards. This is an important set. See, just remember, when you have sets like this, you have to know how to represent the information as such. So in this case, let us start with how to actually represent this particular set. I'll be using this grid as it is, but in case, obviously you are not going to have the grid in front of you when you are solving the set. So it's important that you draw down the grid whenever you have a set like this. So in this particular set, sorry, okay, and yeah, 6 ants P, Q, R, S, T, U, T and U are sitting on a 6x6 board as given below. Their positions are pointed in the figure below. After a few seconds, they move 2 centimeters from their position such that they always move in a straight line along the sides. It is also known that they never change the direction while moving. So basically, they move 2 centimeters. There is a 2 centimeter displacement along the grid as such. So basically, so essentially if I move, this will move either like this, like this, like this, like this along the lines as such. Okay, and you have to move 2 centimeters as such. And they move in the same direction, so it won't be like this, it won't be like this, it has to be in the same direction, entire 2 centimeters in the same direction. Okay, so what is given about the grid as such? The following information is known about their initial position. Ant U and S are, I'll just go down slightly so that it is visible. Ant U and S are 5 centimeters away from each other. So distance between U and S is 5 centimeters. Distance of ant T from U and from ant U and ant S are integers such that T is nearer to ant S as compared to ant U. Now you have 6 points and you have to figure out which 2 points are 5 centimeters away from each other. Now consider, suppose this point. If I consider this point, this is 3, this is 4. So if I use Pythagoras theorem, these 2 points are 5 centimeters away from each other. That is one set of points which are 5 centimeters away from each other. This point, if I consider not 5 centimeter, not 5 centimeter, not 5 centimeter, not 5 centimeter. So all the other points are not 5 centimeters away from this point. Similarly, if I consider over here, this point is nowhere, not 5 centimeter away from any point as such. See, this will be basically like 2 root 2. So this is 2, this is 2, so this will be 2 root 2, so which is not 5 as such. So for this, this cannot be part of U and S as such. So this is not neither U neither S. Similarly over here, this is not 5 centimeters away from either of any of the points as such. This is 5 centimeter away from this point, sorry. So these 2 points are 5 centimeter away. So this is another possible potential value for U and S. This is not 5 centimeter away from anything. This is only 5 centimeter away from this, no other this. So there are only 2 cases. One is either U and S are this along this line or along this line. Now the other information that is given is that distance of ant T and from U and S are integers such that ant T is nearer to ant S as compared to ant U. So there has to be a third point which is an integral distance away from both of these points. Now consider this diagonal one. In this case, essentially if it's an integral distance away, basically it means that either it should be like a 3 and 4 kind of a Pythagoras triangle, or it should be along the same lines as such. So if I consider these 2 as such, this point can be ant T as such. So I have 3 points like this which satisfy the given condition. This point can't be ant T because this is not an integral value. This point also cannot be ant T because this is not an integral value. This also cannot be ant T because this will be 2 root 2, this line over here. So because of that, if I consider this diagonal line, this will have to be ant T. If I consider this horizontal line, this is an integer but this is not an integer. So this cannot be the third point. Similarly, this is also 2 root 2, so not an integer, so this can't be ant T. This also similarly, this is root 5 as such. This is also root 10, and similarly this is also 2 root 2. So if I consider this horizontal line, there is no third point which is an integral distance away from both of the points, which means that this horizontal line is not US, which means that this diagonal line is US. So basically that means that if I consider the points, so I can eliminate this line as such. My values of U and S are along this horizontal point, and which means that this point over here, this third point is T. Now which is u, which is s? So it is given that and t is nearer to s as compared to u. This is 3 centimeters, this is 4 centimeters, which means that this is s, which is nearer to t, and this is u, which is slightly away from t. So I got u and s. Now I have to figure out the remaining. So the remaining can be p, q, r in any order as such. Okay. So I don't know which is p, q, r because I am not given any information before movement. Now let us take a look at the remaining information. The remaining information is that after the movement, okay, this much I'll move. After the movement, each ant will remain inside the board after the movement. So what does this mean? This means that S can't go up because otherwise it will fall off the board. Similarly, it can't go left because it will fall off the board. So that basically is the first condition. The second condition is that ant U, ant T and ant P are in a straight line. So basically we have after the movement, T, U and one more point P or ant P has to be in the straight line as such. Only 2 ants are at the border of the 6x6 board and Q is one among them. Ant R moved opposite to the direction of ant Q. I'll just move this up so that it's visible. And paths of no 2 ants will cross each other or will reach the same point. No ant will occupy the previous position of any ant. Now if that is the case, the first thing I'll do is basically I'll draw my figure again. So this is 6x6, 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is my 6x6 grid. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if I consider now I have to consider I have to find out their places after movement. Okay, so I have to find out where they will be after movement. Now let us consider each point as such. S, I know where it is. Now S cannot go up, it cannot go left, so it can go either right or down. But if it is given that no ant will occupy any previous position of any other ant. Now if S goes down by 2, that means that it will have to occupy this position of the old position of this ant. Now based on the last rule, it can't occupy the previous position of any ant, which means that S can't go even down. So all of these are impossible. So that means S has to go over here, and this is the new position of S, which is S dash. Okay. Now T was over here. Now essentially the second information that I have is that essentially T can't go up. So if I consider the cases, so if I consider this is S, so S can move in only one direction, which I have put S dash over here. T can't move up, so T can either and T can't move over here also because now S is over here, and it is given that paths of no 2 ants cross each other, which means that T can't move to the left. So that means and T can't move up because it is over here. So essentially it has two possibilities. One is that T moves to the right or T moves down. Okay, so these are the two cases. Consider the case for you. You can either move up, you can either move over here, or you can either move over here. Consider for this ant, it can either move up, move down, or move left. For this, if it moves up, it is going to take the old position of S, which it can't take. It can't move left because it will fall off the grid. So it can move right or it can move down. So these are the two options available for this particular point as such. For this one, it can move in all 4 directions. So let it be as is. I won't draw over it unnecessarily. So if you consider this, this is the initial information that we have. Now the biggest point that is given over here is that ant U, ant T and ant P are in a straight line. Distance between ant T and ant P is equal to distance between ant P and ant U, which means that T, P, U is a straight line such that P is equidistant, it is in the middle, and it is equidistant from T and U as such. So that is basically, if I join the line T, P, U, P is the midpoint of T and U. So that is basically what I have. Either it can be a straight line, horizontal or diagonal line, either way. So essentially P has to be in the middle as such. Only 2 ants are at the border, so I will leave that as for now. R moved opposite to the direction of Q. Paths of no 2 ants cross, no ant will take the previous position of any other ant. Now let me actually try to figure out where T and U could have possibly gone such that they formed a line with P where P is in the middle. So essentially let us consider the two cases where T either moved to the right or T moved down. So I'll consider both those cases over here. See, one more thing that you have to realize is that if T moves to the right, it will be on the edge and it is also given that Q is on the edge. So if Q is on the edge, we'll have to figure out how Q could have actually been on the edge such that it remained ended up on the edge as such. So we'll have to figure out which of the values could potentially be Q. Q is on the edge after movement, so this can't be Q, so this is not Q, because this can't possibly be on the edge even if it moves to the right or bottom. This one can be, this is U, this one can be Q if it goes down, otherwise it won't be Q. This one can be Q if it moves up or down. So if I consider this, either this is Q or this is Q, but this is definitely not Q. Okay, and Q has to remain on the, has to be on the edge after movement. Okay, so this is 3, 4, let me draw it again so that I have enough space to show it properly. Okay, 1, 3, 7. Okay, so you have your S over on the third this here, so which is S dash. Now the first consideration is, say T moves down and T moves right. These are the two cases as such. Okay, so if T moves down, where do you have T dash? T dash will be over here. Okay, and in this case T dash will be over here. Okay, T dash, by dash I mean that essentially the new position after movement position essentially. Okay, so if T dash is over here, my U was initially over here, and U has to move in such a way that another point has to be between U and T. See, if U moves over here, then I can, if U moves over here from, like if U moves to the right, then this point over here, this point can move 2 spaces to the right and come in between. If U moves up, it will be taking the same space as T, so it cannot move up in that case. If U moves to the left, then this is the old position. So if it is the old position, then firstly this point has to move, and no other ant can take its old position. So essentially this means that you can't move left because this will have to be empty, and T is over here, which means that if T moves down, the only position left for U is essentially to move right. So in that case, U dash is over here. If T moves to the right, what is going to happen? In that case, you have the only position that you can move up. If U moves to the right, essentially this old position will be the midpoint, which again it can't be because that ant has to move, and nobody can take its old position back. So essentially that means that you cannot move to the right. Can U move up? If U moves up, what happens is that U is over here, and if U dash is over here, then the midpoint P dash has to be over here, and there is literally no point that can actually come over here. This point can't come over here, this point also cannot come over here, so nothing can be over here as such. So you cannot move up, which means that you has to move right. If T moves to the right, you has to move to the left. It can't move up because nothing can take this this space as such. So if T moves to the right, then U moves to the left. So that means that in this case, U from here has to go over here. So this is U dash, and P dash has to be over here because it is equidistant from this as such. So in this case, P dash has to be over here. So this is if T moved down, this is if T moved to the right. So we figured out where U is. In this case, first case, what could be P dash? In this case, in the first case, this is P. In the second case, the only point which could actually take this spot is this spot over here. So this would mean that this is P in that case. So this is P2, that is the P of second case. This is P1, that is P of first case. Okay. Now, if that is the case, what would be Q? In if my P moves over here, if this consider the second case as such, in this case P has moved over here, which means that the only other value which can only other ant which can actually go down to the end of the grid would have to be this one. So in the second case, this one will have to be Q. So in the second case, this is Q. Now Q has to go to the edge of the board. It is given that after movement Q is on the edge. So Q is on the border. So if Q has to be on the border, the only way Q can be on the border is if it goes down. So that means that Q has to go down like this, and this will be Q dash in that case. That is the only way it can reach a border. But if that is the case, then the paths of U and Q have to overlap. But according to the condition, U and Q cannot actually, the paths of two ants do not cross each other, which means that there is no other point which can actually be on the border. This one cannot be on the border, and the other points are essentially accounted for. So this means that this condition, the second case, is you can't find a case where all the conditions are satisfied. So this is violating conditions, so I can eliminate this case, which means that this is the final way in which it moved. T moved down, U moved right, and this is P as such. So this means that this is P, this has to be P. I already said this is not Q, so this has to be Q. So this is Q, which means that this one is R. So this one is R over here, okay. So if this is the case, I have the position, final position of STU and P. Now Q and R, which direction can Q move? See, if Q moves over here to the inside, it is going to coincide with T, which it cannot do. If it moves down, it is coinciding with U, which it cannot do. So the only point left for Q to move is up. So this is Q dash. If Q is moving up, R moves in the opposite direction of Q. So that means that R has to move down. So R moves down and R is over here. So this is R dash. So essentially I get the final configuration like this. This is P dash, this is Q dash, this is R dash, this is S dash, this is T dash, and this is U dash. Let me once confirm whether all the conditions are being met. The first condition is each of them will remain in the board after movement, and U, T and P are in a straight line. They are in a straight line over here. This is the straight line. And P is between and T and P is equal to distance between P and U. Yes, they are equidistant. P is in between T and U. Now only two ants are at the border. So only two ants are at the border, that is Q and U are at the border. Everybody else is in the interior as such. And the ant R moved opposite to ant Q. Parts of no two ants cross each other. No ant occupies the previous position of any other ant. So all of the conditions are met, which means that this is my final position. This is the only configuration possible. So now that we have our final configuration possible, let us try to solve the given questions. What is the distance between ant U and ant Q after the movement of the ants? So what is the final distance? This is distance between U and Q. So this is along the straight line. I see this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the distance between U and Q is option B, 4 centimeters. The second question is what is the distance? Okay, this is the same. Okay. Not able to go to the next question. Oh, sorry, this is second question because the first quant question was there. Yeah, the next question is which of the following pairs of ants will lie on a horizontal line after movement? This U and T is from like sticking from the last one. So which one will lie on the line after horizontal movement? Which will lie on a horizontal line after movement? So basically one of the lines as such. See, if I see this, R and U are on the same line, S and Q are on the same horizontal line. None of the others are on any horizontal line as such. So the right answer is among them either RU or SQ. RU is not there, SQ is there. So the right answer is SQ. Now let's take a look at the third question. So the third question is, move this, okay. What is the ratio of the distance between the ants ST and UR after the movement? ST is, this is 2, this is 1, so ST has to be √5. And UR is 5 centimeters, so UR is 5. So ratio of √5 is to 5 is 1 is to √5. So the required ratio of distance ST to UR is 1 is to √5, that is option A. Now let's take a look at the last question, which is this one. What is the distance between R and T after the movement? After the movement, R and T, so this is 3, this is 2. So RT is essentially square root of 9 plus 4, that is √13. So distance between R and T after the movement is √13. So the answer is option B. So as you could see, once we had our final configuration, it became easy to answer this. In this kind of question, you had to draw to actually visualize. 6x6 grid is not something that you can visualize in your head. You have to draw. There is no other alternative to it. So now that you know how to solve these kind of sets, I hope that you get the point of solving 2D space LRs. In this case, if you had to actually do it faster, you had to immediately understand that the second option was not viable. See, whenever a condition like this is given, you have to understand why that condition is given. Okay, so if you are told that only Q is among the ones that was on the edge, you have to figure out what is Q based on this. So that is the first thing that you should have looked out for when you were forming the configurations as such. If you had used that, you would have been able to reject this particular configuration quickly without spending too much time. A lot of students crib, I know many of them on this also, that because it's a computer based test and you have drawings, it's like a waste of time. But there is no escape from that. You have to draw. Just remember, you have 8 minutes, draw quickly, but you have to draw. And this is one of those sets where you have to draw, say, 2-3 times. I remember in CAT 2019, you had to, for one of the 2D space LRs, you had to draw like 4 or 5 diagrams. Now that was time consuming. But essentially the key over there was that you need not have drawn all of those 5 diagrams completely. After drawing initially, you could immediately get that, okay, this is not possible, reject it. Go on to the next diagram, see if it is possible. If it is, keep it as it is. Go to the next, see if it is viable, so that in the end you have only 2-3 diagrams to draw with full detail as such. So essentially you have to try to reduce how much drawing you have to do. But just remember, in these kind of sets you have to draw. There is no other alternative to it. I have tried to give you how to solve these kind of this. If you have any particular queries regarding this, please let me know. Shubham is asking, this diagonal thing is somewhat out of context. About what? I'm not sure. So diagonal as in if you're saying if what was on a line, so basically when you're told it's on a straight line, that is different from being on one of the grid lines. So if you got confused by that, that is something that a lot of students got confused by, and they felt that okay, if TPU are in a straight line, it has to be a straight line along one of the grid lines as such. But grid line is different from a straight line as such. Even this is a straight line, even this is a straight line. So don't get confused by the wording as such. Don't assume that okay, these are the only lines that are possible. Even a diagonal line is a line. If that was this as such. Yeah, can a straight line be diagonal? Yes, it can be a diagonal. A straight line is basically, this is not a straight line. This is a straight line. That's it. It need not be along the grid lines. This is a grid line. So the vertical and horizontal lines are grid lines. For example, when you were asked over here, okay, you were asked they lie on a horizontal line. Now a diagonal line can't be a horizontal line, a diagonal line can't be a vertical line, but it is a straight line. So just use the actual wording of, just go with the actual mathematical wording of it instead of assuming that it has to be a grid line as such. I know some people got tripped up on that, but don't make assumptions like this in actual DILR sets also. Okay. One more thing, a lot of students was asking me about how to choose DILR sets. See, basically remember, when now is the last leg for CAT preparation, you should know by now what your DILR strengths are. For example, for me, whenever I give a DILR section, I go for the arrangement questions first. I like solving arrangement questions. I like solving team selection questions. I like solving 2D space LR questions. I like arithmetic puzzles, Einstein's puzzles. So whenever I see something, I immediately go, yeah, I can possibly solve it. There are some types of sets that I avoid. For example, I take a lot of time to solve DI sets which are very calculation intensive. So I tend to avoid it. But when I see that if an LR DILR section is extremely difficult, then I actually pick out those sets because I know that they are doable. Even if it takes a whole lot of time, because they are doable. See, essentially, just remember, in most DILR sets, if you are able to solve 3 sets, you are through. Now, if the DILR section is extremely difficult, this can actually go down to 2 sets. Now, even if your DI set is extremely time consuming, what will happen is that you can still complete one in 20 minutes for certain, even if it is very calculation intensive, which means that you will have at least 1 set for sure. So depending on your difficulty level, pick sets which are even time consuming if you find that the sets are too difficult and you're not able to solve. Otherwise, know in your mind what your priority order is. Immediately after opening the DILR section, you have only 40 minutes. Spend the first minute going and checking what each type of set is. Know what is your preferred priority order, and then start attempting. Always try to attempt the DILR section by going according to your priority order, saying that okay, I prefer this particular kind of a set, I prefer that kind of set. Once you have that, we basically know that okay, I'm going to do this first, I'm going to do this set second, this set third. Also try to see how much, what is the representation that is required, and how much calculation is required. If it's an easy DILR section, do not get stuck in sets which are extremely calculation intensive. I remember in last, I think it was slot 2, in last year's CAT, where there was one extremely difficult CAT DILR set, and if anybody attempted that, that person was essentially at a huge disadvantage with respect to anybody who skipped that set. That set essentially would be equal to solving 2 of the remaining DILR set. Even when we were trying to explain it, it took like half an hour to explain that set. So picking sets is extremely important. You have to pick firstly by your personal comfort level. Also see how the set is. Okay, some sets are very difficult and you get the sense immediately. Skip those sets, especially if it is extremely calculation intensive. Whenever you open the DILR section, say that okay, this is set 1, this is set 2, this is set 3. Go through all the sets, know that what are the first 4 sets that you are going to attempt. After you have finished 4 sets, if you have the time to do another set, do a 5th set, this as such. But remember, instead of doing an entire set, what you can actually do is from the remaining sections, see if there are any easy picking questions. So there might be some sitter questions immediately visible without solving that entire set. So for example, if you can see from a particular set that you are going to get 2-3 options or something like that, or if any of the question is very obvious, try to solve those one-off questions also, instead of going to an entire set as such. So these are the things you should keep in mind. DILR section is extremely important. I have covered 2D Space LR. I hope you are able to solve these kind of sets if they actually come. I've also covered in one of the streams arrangements. So just go through all the different types of sets that can come. Have a representation strategy ready. Know exactly how to approach it. Just say that okay, if I get a 2D Space LR, I have to draw. If I get an arrangement, I have to either form a table or form a like a line or something like that, or draw circles and seed them. So you should have a representation strategy ready for all kinds of different DILR sets that can come. Okay, so this is the basic thing that you should remember. Please keep posting here. I don't think I was able to answer most of the queries because it was a lot of students have a lot of queries about DILR. But just keep posting here. I'll try to solve some of them. And just remember, just keep practicing. Now is the last phase. You need to practice as much as possible. If you guys are looking for a quick revision of quant topics, we have put up a quant revision which is 3.5 hours. Just revise all the concepts that are there in one go in that. We have also put up other revision videos for VARC and DILR. Just please go through them. It has been a pleasure having you guys here. I hope if all those who attend this session, if you were able to solve this, if you were able to learn how to solve this, you are able to actually solve it in the actual CAT exam. So best of luck to everyone. I hope all of you do really, really well. Thank you for tuning in.